Hello everyone. Today in tutorial number 35 we will see transient thermal analysis using ANSYS Workbench. So let's get started. So first of all we should know what is a transient thermal analysis. A transient thermal analysis calculates temperature and fluxes in your model over a particular time range. So this is the time step problem, means according to time the temperature will change or it will remain constant, but it calculate as per the time. So objective behind the transient thermal analysis is that the time your model takes to heat up or cool down, this thing we can calculate using the transient thermal analysis. The way your model might respond to time dependent heat load or bulk temperature, then the thermal stresses that develop as a result of temperature changes in your model. So all these things are we need to take care of while doing the transient thermal analysis. So generally the result outputs are temperature distribution, heat flux distribution, structural response under different thermal loading condition, and the thermal stresses. So for the example, we have considered the same example which we have seen in the tutorial number 34. So I request each and every one of you, those who are new to this particular thermal analysis, please refer my tutorial number 34. I will provide the link in the description. So in the previous video, tutorial number 34, we had seen the heat sink using the steady state thermal analysis. So in this video we will see same example, but this time we will see transient thermal analysis. So we have the same example with us, and the input data is same as from the tutorial number 34, and only one thing changes here, that is the boundary condition. Now a square wave heat flux of 1000 watt per meter square is acting on this particular heat sink at its bottom. Now what is square wave heat flux we will see while doing it in the ANSYS. And now using the ANSYS we have to find out the temperature, total heat flux, directional heat flux, as well as the thermal stresses. So drawing or the geometry is with us. It is very easy geometry. We will draw it in a design modeler and we'll see how it works in the ANSYS Workbench. So once we come to the ANSYS Workbench, you can see that in project schematic steady state thermal analysis system is already present. This system I have carry forwarded from the tutorial number 34, though we will see the complete steady state thermal analysis once again here, and then we'll forward this data to the transient thermal analysis. So engineering data for this particular steady state thermal analysis, we have given the isotropic thermal conductivity 170 watt meter Kelvin. So we keep that same. The geometry which I have already drawn, we will not waste our time to drawing the geometry. You can refer the tutorial number 34 for the geometry. See, the geometry is with us, so we need not to draw the geometry once again. Now go to the model and do the steady state thermal analysis. So here we at the ANSYS Mechanical will do the fast process for the steady state because we have seen earlier in the tutorial number 34. So for this we have to measure the sizing. For that we have to select the complete body, apply it, give the element size. Let's convert this units into the meter, and element size 5 to power -4. So we have provided the element size and update it. Now into steady state thermal, apply the heat flux. Heat flux is at the bottom. The magnitude is 1000 watt per meter square. So we have provided. The heat transfer will be by the convection method. So for the convection method, we have to identify the surfaces which are used for the convection. As we can see that this bottom will not convection, because here we are applying the heat flux, so the remaining portion will useful in the convection. So put your finger on the control and select. Just you have to drag the mouse by clicking the left button. So in this way you can select automatically all the surfaces. This portion is remaining. So see, total 29 faces are selected excluding the bottom. So we have applied the convection on the 29 faces and the magnitude is of 30. So convection is applied. Now into the solution, go to the temperature, go to the total heat flux and go to the okay, we will not go for the directional, just we want these two results. Okay, then up to this portion we had seen in the tutorial number 34. So now in this tutorial we are going for the transient thermal analysis, where we will give the time steps. So now let's go to the project schematic, and once you come to the project schematic, go to the transient thermal, drag it and put it into the solution cell of steady state thermal. Now the data is shared by the steady state thermal to the transient thermal, but we need to give some material input for this particular transient. So aluminum alloy is having density 2870, which is correct. Isotropic thermal conductivity we have provided earlier 170, and the specific heat is 870. So the data is up to mark. Now go to the transient thermal and click on the setup file or setup cell. Now we are at the once again into the ANSYS mechanical, but one thing you will observe that the transient thermal is now below the steady state thermal. So few data of steady state thermal is shared to the transient thermal analysis. So now first of all, what is meant by transient thermal we have discussed earlier. Here we have to provide the time. We are saying that we will provide the heat flux with respect to time, and for that we need to change few changes in the analysis setting. So we'll see what kind of changes we have to make in the analysis setting. In analysis setting, number of step we will consider as a 1, and the current step number we will consider also 1. Means we have only consider one step, and with that particular one step we are with respect to time we will apply the loading. And the step ends means we have to give the time span, for what time span we are applying the heat flux. So it is 180 second, and we have to apply the auto time stepping. We have applied it, or we have activated it, and initial time step we have to give the 0.1 second, 0.1 second. We will see what this 0.1 second is having significance. And minimum time step we have to provide 5 raised to power minus 2. So this is the minimum time step, but the initial time step is of 0.1 second, and the maximum time step we have to cover it with the 5 second. So in this way we have provided the or rather we have changed the analysis setting. Means we will perform the transient thermal analysis for 180 second with the number of step 1 and the initial time step of 0.1 second. So we'll see how it works in the transient thermal. So now go to the insert and apply the heat flux. Now this heat flux is for the transient thermal analysis, remember this thing. So apply this heat flux at the bottom, and we have applied the heat flux in the magnitude. Instead of step we will go for the tabular data. So we have here the tabular data, and you will see now how the tabular data we will put the value of the heat flux with respect to time. So first we will see 0 at a 0 second we have the heat flux 0. Now 0 heat flux when the value is 40, or rather time is 45 second. At 45 second we have the 0 heat flux, then 1000 watt per meter square heat flux when the time is 45.1 seconds. So this is the time step, that particular 0.1 second is added here, and in this way we have to carry this thing. Now in the initial I told you that it is a square wave, so we have total 180 seconds, so we have to divide that 180 second into 4 parts. So after 45 seconds the next time step, next time value will be of 90 second. At 90 second we have the value of 1000. Then at 90.1, then next is time step is of 90.1. so at 90.1 we have the value of 0 heat flux, rather I'll say, and after that we will add another 45 second into it. So here the value will be 0 for 135 second, but as soon as after the 135 second the value is 1000 and time will be 135.1 second. So in this way we are taking this, and at the end 180 the heat flux value is 1000. Now you can see the square wave, 0, 45, then 90 second, 90.1. in this way we can get the square wave form here. So this is the time step we have provided. This particular value 180 second, it depends upon us, means it depends upon the procedure. We have just take the arbitrary value of 180 second here. You can take your own value as well, but you have to create this square waveform. So the heat flux is provided. Now for the heat transfer method we have to use the convection. Similarly for the convection we have to select the faces, all the faces except the bottom. You have to push the control button and drag the mouse by clicking the left hand side button of the mouse. So in this way all the 29 faces are selected. The magnitude is 30 and the ambient temperature is constant. We are not changing the atmospheric temperature, so it is 28 degrees Celsius is constant. Now ask for the solution. So you can differentiate the thing that in a transient thermal analysis temperature is changing with respect to time. It is not constant, means 0 to 9, 0 to 45, 45 to 90, 90 to 135, 135 to 80. Though the value is 1000 watt per meter square, in few cases that value may also, that particular magnitude may also change, but in this case we have kept that value constant, but time is changing. Now once we have the solution in the transient thermal analysis at different time, you can see the tabular data here. Now it's time for some results. We'll see the temperature effect, we'll see the total heat flux, as well as we will see the directional heat flux along the y-axis. All these results we have discussed in the previous video also, video tutorial number 34, but we will see here again. The temperature value will remain same, 30 to 30, 30.82 to 30.594, that is maximum to minimum range, though it is changing with respect to time, but the temperature value is remain same. We can see the at what time we are getting the temperature value. So here we have the tabular data of time up to the 180 second, right from the beginning, 0.1 to the 180 second. There are 43 various times we have. Similarly we can see the total heat flux as well. So total heat flux value we can see with respect to time. Here we have the tabular data In tabular data you can easily find out at what time we are getting, or at what time the value of that particular heat flux we are having. So this is the useful thing which we can solve by using the transient thermal analysis. So directional heat flux is also same. At different time we are getting different directional heat flux. So in this way we have seen the transient thermal analysis. Now you might be wondering that why we need that particular steady state thermal and then we have to use the transient thermal. So reason behind that, the temperature distribution from the steady state thermal analysis is now the initial temperature for the transient thermal analysis. That the temperature whatever we got in the steady state, now it is the initial temperature for the transient thermal analysis. If the initial temperature is uniform for the transient thermal analysis, that is the initial temperature for the particular transient thermal analysis, then in that case we need not to require the sharing the data. So we are sharing the data because we have considered the temperature from the steady state thermal analysis. Now we will go to the project schematic for the thermal stresses. Now we have performed the steady state thermal, we have performed the transient thermal. For the stresses we have to drag the static structural into the project schematic, put it into the solution, and once again go to the engineering data of steady state. Here we have the Young's modulus of elasticity, Poisson's ratio, which is another important property, and one more thing we have to see here, that is coefficient of thermal expansion. See this property, we have to see the coefficient of thermal expansion. So we have the coefficient of thermal expansion here as per the condition. So means whatever the aluminum alloy is having. So now we'll go to the again project schematic, and now double click on the setup of static structural, and one thing you will find that again that particular static structural is below the transient thermal. First we have seen the steady state, then transient. Now we have for the we are here for the thermal stresses. Now the load is already imported from the previous file, means load is nothing but here heat flux. So we have provided the heat flux here, and now we have to give the another boundary condition. It is not important to fix the plate at some point, but we will fix it because otherwise it will expand in all four directions. So by fixing the plate at this end and keeping all the ends free, which means that there will be no thermal stresses on the upper side, because as we know the thermal concept of thermal stresses, for the concept of thermal to create or to generate the thermal stresses, we have to keep both sides fixed, and then we have to give the temperature to the body, so that the body wants to expand, but due to the boundary condition body will not expand and it will generate the stresses inside it. So that is the concept behind the thermal stresses. So by fixing only one end, you will find that there will be almost zero stresses. So we'll go for the solution. Now in the solution we will only focus on two things: total deformation and the equivalent von Mises stresses. Now check first total deformation. Now see, in total deformation, as body is not allowed to move in this direction because this direction is fixed and all other part of the body is getting heated, so molecule will try to expand due to the heat, and now see how it is expanding. The units are here in meter. You will better understand, we will convert it into mm. So see, about 0.009 mm of deformation, maximum deformation we are getting at the top. You can see it, and this is the deformation we are getting. And similarly for the case of stress, the value you may see 90 megapascal or around 80-70 megapascal, but for the maximum place it is 0. Means see, the top all the fins are 0, and only 90 megapascal will be at the bottom where this particular thing is fixed, because at this end it is not able to expand. All other ends are they are free to expand. That's why you will see that there is 0 megapascal stress in this particular heat sink. So for getting the or generating the thermal stresses, we have to fix the both end so that it can generate, means we are not allowed to deform the body, and we have to give the heat flux continuously so that it can generate the thermal stresses. So in this way we have concluded that how to transient thermal analysis works, as well as how to find out the stresses and the total deformation in thermal analysis. In next class we will see another example of thermal analysis, where we will see steady, transient and the thermal stresses at one place. Thank you very much.